Greetings, fellow Sinespace residents. So, many of you are aware that I added a reflection probe furniture item to the shop. People could add to their own regions, specifically in region templates that don't already have reflection probes. This came up in a meeting where we were discussing some jewelry that people were wearing that wasn't shining in certain regions. And this is one of the things that can be done that might help alleviate that problem. Here is the reflection probe in the shop, and you can see it's for free. I didn't really do anything special with this. All I did was just slap the reflection probe component into a furniture item and uploaded it so that people could use it in world. And it's made open source so that you can change all the different settings for the reflection probe. So I put together a quick little test and demonstration to kind of go over some of the things that you can do with it. As you can see here, there's 2 rows of cubes, and the ones on the right are kind of reflecting the ground and the sky properly, whereas the ones on the left aren't. So if I open up Edit Room, you can see that I've got 3 reflection probes in here. And I basically put one at the center of each of these cubes. And yeah, I adjusted the scale to 3:4:3, which is going to reflect the actual size of the reflection probe effect area, just so that I could see that box around it. So that's a quick little tip for you guys that are putting these in your region. You can change the scale here to match the size of the reflection probe, and that'll let you see where it's affecting objects. Right now, I have these reflection probes set up to real time every frame. By default, they'll just be on awake. The main thing with this is on awake is it'll just create a reflection image for any surfaces in that effect area once. And that's really good for performance. It's not going to show avatars walking by and things like that. If you wanted something like that, you would need to set it to every frame. But that's going to cost performance. So you got to be mindful of where you use that and especially how many. If you had one in a region, it might not be such a big deal. But if you had several like I've got here, it could really start bringing down the frame rate. I'll leave it on every frame for now just for the demonstration. And yeah, because then I can move it around and you can see as I move it off of the object, it's not affecting it anymore. If I move it over here, it's starting to affect that one. So that's how this area of effect works. So I'll put this back on the center there. So messing around with these, one thing that I've noticed is that you want to set the height of the reflection probe basically where the camera height is going to be to get a proper reflection. So if I'm moving over here, you can see there I am in the reflection because these are real time. Select this closer one here. You can see if I move the camera around, you can see, oh, there I am in the other one back there too. If this reflection probe was set lower, like at the center of that cube, I'm going to be looking at my feet, which, you know, when you're walking up to it, it's going to look a little weird. So if you set it more at the height of where the camera is going to be at, you're going to get a more correct direction of the reflection, I guess. So normally you wouldn't be putting these reflection probes inside of an object. With this, these cubes, because they're small enough, and you know, if you put a camera inside of them, you're going to see you don't see the backside of the faces on it. So a reflection probe inside of it actually works. Normally you would use these on the outside, but close to the surface area that you want to reflect. So if I grabbed like this, let's see, which one is it? The last one that I pick. So this one, if I made the scale, like, I don't know, 10 by 10, You can see the effect area there. Grab the correct probe again. Now if I change the size of this to 10 by 10, now it's properly reflecting there. But yeah, so normally you would put this like close to the surface of what you're wanting to reflect on. So like if this was the face of a building with a lot of glass windows, that would be the perfect application, would just be putting something close by over here. And if it was really long, you might need to put multiple probes along the face of it to get proper reflections. Because as you're walking by, the angle's going to be wrong, if you only have the one probe. Okay, so let's shrink down that cube again. See, I had that at 1, 2, 1, I think. Yep. And we'll put that reflection probe back to its normal size, which was 3, 4, 3. Okay. So here. So you can also see, get my camera to move, there we go, that I've got this treasure chest up in the sky here. You can see reflections there in the top, as well as if I came down here and was looking up this one, you could see it reflecting up there. Okay, so one of these things, because these reflection probes are in furniture items, if you are changing certain settings of them, like if this was just on awake, to see like a movement change show up properly, you would need to toggle it on and off again. See, now its reflection has changed. If it's on every frame, then you can see it kind of in real time there. I've also noticed that if you change the resolution, so let's say we'll change this down really low so you can see how it looks different and pixelates a little bit. So there's 32, that's really fuzzy looking, right? Okay, so I change it to on away. I can change it down to 32. It's not updating the resolution of the reflection there. So if I toggle it, then it will. If I change this to every frame now, at 24, it still doesn't quite look right. So I'll come up here and toggle it again, off and on, and now it looks correct. So that's something to be aware of, is if you're changing settings and stuff, you might want to just go ahead and toggle that off and on just to make sure the settings are updating properly. So something else that is important to note, well, let's see, we'll change the scale here to 10. Oh wait, no, actually we'll go 15. 15 on the z-axis. Now you can see that's going to overlap with this other one. So I'll go ahead and change the actual size of the reflection probe, because that's just the collider that I changed there. This reflection probe here is going to conflict with the reflection probe here, possibly. So the way that you order these, if you have overlapping volumes like that, is you can set a priority, importance right here. So they're both set to 1 right now, so it's kind of up in the air which one gets to be seen versus another. But if I set this one to 10, now you can see that it overwrote this cube. It's taking priority now. So if you didn't want that, but you needed other objects in that area to be affected, but you wanted only this one to have its own reflection probe, you could come in here and set that to a higher priority, 15 or something. higher importance. Sorry, I keep using the wrong word there. So that's kind of how you would set one to override another. Okay, so something else that might be important is the near and far clip planes. So I'm going to demonstrate this with this this chest here, I think. Let me bring this down. Bring it up here. Okay, so you can kind of see its reflection there. Because it's reflecting from up here for the camera angle, it looks a little off, but you get the idea that you can see it there. If you had something up close that you wanted to not include in the reflection, you could potentially change the near clip plane. So like if these cubes had a back face on the inside of them that would prevent the reflection probe from getting a proper image, something like that, you could change the near clip plane out. So if I put it to 1, you can see it's starting to clip the object here. So if I put it to 2, it's going to probably make that box completely disappear. And yeah, it did. So you can see that it's completely gone from the image. Whereas at 0.3, which was the default, yeah, there it is. So that's basically where it starts the camera looking at things. And sometimes you'll see some image corruption in a reflection, like maybe black artifacts or something like that. And that might have something to do with these clip planes because of the way cameras work in Unity and other 3D programs. You might need to adjust that near clip plane out a little bit further or bring the far clip plane in. So you could see that alternatively. So like if we only let it go out to, I don't know, 5 meters or so. Oop, you can see my avatar there. Let me go back a little bit further, like 8 meters. You can see it only goes out to there, and then it clips off, and all you see is the skybox. So that's kind of how those work. So just something to be aware. If it's got artifacts, bring that far clip plane in, or push the near clip plane out. If you want to avoid including something that's up close, you can push that near clip plane out. Okay, so I'll put that back to 1,000. And something else is the intensity. I don't know if it's going to do anything in here. Oh, it does. Okay. That'll just change the amount of light that's being reflected. So I do have a, have a directional light in here. So that's what's being increased. You can see it, kind of how it's shining down. It's getting really bright up there. So if you put it to 10, it's probably going to go blinding white. Oh my gosh, it's so reflective. Okay. Kind of a cool effect. So these cubes are set with, like, they're totally maxed out on their metallic and their smoothness. So that's why they're like a mirror finish. So an intensity of 1 is like a 1-to-1, view of what's being shown on the reflection probe. If you had a less smooth surface or a less metallic surface on your object, it might look dulled out or whatever. And in that case, you could override it and make it more shiny by increasing the intensity. So that should be a good quick rundown of how some of those things work. So in recap, you can change the area of effect with the size here. You can clip things out up close by increasing the near clip plane. You can reduce artifacts by bringing the far clip plane in. You can change the intensity for less shiny objects to make them more shiny. You can change the resolution here, which will just, change how clear of an image it is. The mode you'll want to stick to real time, and you'll probably want to stick to on awake for the refresh mode, unless you're trying to make a mirror that reflects avatars or something like that. But be aware that if you change it to every frame, it's going to have a performance hit. You can also change the importance, so you can determine which reflection probe has priority, in areas that overlap. And don't forget to toggle off and on when you make changes. All right. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me a message, either on Discord or in World, and I'll do what I can to help out. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.